Welcome to the Dating Kinky podcast, a cast about love, sex, romance, and, of course, kink. It's been a while since I recorded, the longest pause I've had since the beginning of this podcast. And I've missed podcasting. I have. I've just been wandering around in my mind, wondering what to podcast about now that I've upended my whole life. As you may remember, in August, I took a month to pursue passion projects and landed on one in particular, the Boundaries book I've been working on. It was meant to be a temporary thing, just my birthday month, and I'd be back to business as usual in September. But I didn't want to go back because I've felt a renewed sense of purpose focusing in on a single topic. And I didn't realize how much I was draining myself working the way I was. More, the people who followed me down that path are giving amazing feedback about how much the boundaries work is affecting them and changing their lives for the better. It's so powerful. But it's not daily writings. It's not regular podcasts. And so this project sat out in limbo. And I'm sorry about that. But I may be back. Maybe not as often as I was. And possibly sometimes in a different format than you've come to expect from me. But I'm back. Because today, I was inspired to pick up my podcasting tools again and to share thoughts with you. In addition to writing a book about boundaries over the last few months, I've started a Take No Shit workshop, all about building better boundaries step by step. I began the first beta run on October 17th, and we're now officially 2 weeks of lessons in. This morning, I popped in to check on the forums and discussions, and one in particular got my mind working. One of my workshop members, who has also been following along with my Boundaries book as I live write it and post it chapter by chapter, is at a point in her boundaries journey where she's noticing how a friend of hers consistently oversteps by offering unsolicited advice on food choices, health, life decisions, and more. And the topic of unsolicited advice is something I've been personally noodling for a bit. She'd said, "Earlier this year, I read that giving unsolicited advice is a demonstration of poor boundaries. So I think it's just something that I took as fact. But now I'm like, oh, wait, aren't boundaries based on each individual?" Here's my reply. I don't necessarily believe that giving unsolicited advice is a sign of poor boundaries. However, I came across a concept that really hit home with me that I'd like to share. Let me know how this feels to you. Unsolicited advice is always criticism. Whew, when I read that, it slapped. Then I sat with it a while and I realized I don't agree. I agree enough that it's a good rule of thumb for me. But there are certain situations in which it's not true. And when it's not true, it's important. Sometimes unsolicited advice is an opening to collaboration. Not always. Not even most of the time. But in my best relationships with my favorite people, it always is because I don't have relationships with people I feel a need to criticize. But the other 99.9% of the time, yeah, I see it in myself and I see it in others. And perhaps even more importantly, I think most people instinctually feel the criticism, as it sounds like you are with your friend, even when I may not mean it. Because most people have never been in a relationship that doesn't center a fight for power over each other. So the idea of collaboration over competition is pretty much foreign. Which is why I feel like that's a good rule overall to apply. And it can be removed or altered if it's found to not really fit. So if I apply that rule, not just to others, but to myself, boundaries and ethics, then I realize that an ethic of mine is to ask consent from others in conversation as well before offering advice. Just as I might ask consent before treading into sensitive territory and bringing up difficult topics. So I just rambled a bit. What are your thoughts on unsolicited advice? Do you believe that all or most unsolicited advice is criticism? When is it not? Or is it never in your mind? Do you enjoy offering unsolicited advice? Do you enjoy receiving it? When does it cross a boundary for you? So, here's something new for this cast. I'm making it interactive. I'm inviting you to share your thoughts with me by audio recording your feedback, questions, challenges, and, well, whatever. I'll share your questions and thoughts in an upcoming episode and respond. Almost like a call-in radio show, but asynchronous instead of live. You can record or respond at any time of day or night from your phone or computer. So I invite you to join me. Record an audio, share a thought, ask a question. Heck, even tell me I'm wrong. I'm here for it, and I'd love to connect with you. Go to saydk.com/advice to participate. That's saydk.com/advice to share your thoughts. Thank you for joining me today. If you love this episode, please share it with others who would enjoy it. And please do join me on our new apps available in the Google Play and Apple App Stores. Dating Kinky. It's built by Kinksters for Kinksters, poly, queer, trans folk, and anyone not quite vanilla. And it's free. Find me on FetLife as Nookie Notes and on Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, and Facebook as Dating Kinky. We're on Instagram as Dating Kinky Official, all one word. Have a kinky day, and I'll catch you next episode.